right, so classification based on different water things. There are obligate halophiles. Halo means the salt, so are adapted for growth. Obligate halophiles require a high salt concentration. Most microorganisms can't take too much salt, and you saw why. All the water gets out of their cells. But there are some that have adapted to a higher salt environment, and these are obligate halophiles. They have to have this high salt environment. There are other organisms that are facultative. Remember, facultative, take it or leave it. They don't have to have a high salt environment, but they can tolerate them. One of these examples is Staphylococcus aureus. It can tolerate a high salt environment, and it's one of the microorganisms that live on our skin. We have staph. That lives on our skin. Doesn't cause a problem on our skin. It's adapted to live in this environment where most microorganisms can't grow. A high salt, our sweat that contains that salt, is one of our defense mechanisms against microorganisms that are trying to get in. But Staphylococcus aureus can live in that. So we have a lot of staph growing on our skin. Not a problem on our skin, but if you get a cut, and that staphylococcus on your skin penetrates into your bloodstream and into your tissues, then you can potentially have a staph infection. If your immune system inside your body can't get rid of them quick enough, the staph bacteria can multiply and lead to an infection, and you get a staph infection. All right, so that's an example of that. What else when we're talking about water? If we're talking about hydrostatic pressure, we're going to talk about water pressure. Now, water pressure, anybody, my scuba divers, anybody? I don't think anybody told me that they were scuba divers. If you've ever done that, if you dive deep and under the water, there's a lot of extra water pressure, and that can be a problem on deep dives, and depends on how quickly you can acclimate to that pressure. And that's why divers who have to ascend in an emergency situation very quickly can have problems because of that adjustment to that pressure. So there are organisms that are adapted to this high pressure environment. A barophile is an organism that lives in extreme depths in the sea, and they are adapted to live under those extreme pressure situations. Now, because of that, they have some extra bonding in their proteins. Again, that'll help those proteins keep their shape even in those deep depths. So barophiles are organisms that are adapted to high pressure. A barometer measures the air pressure, right? Measures pressure. So barophiles, barometer, pressure. That's your clue on